Welcome to the TMC Newsroom. Rich Tehrani here. Thanks for watching us today. We're at Interop 2012 in Las Vegas, Nevada. On our program is Ranajit Nevatia. He is the VP of Marketing at Panzura. And Ranajit, welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Rich. Fine, thanks. How are you doing?
Doing great. You won Best of Show at Interop. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. We're
So
very
tell us,
excited.
yeah, I'm sure, and you should be. What exactly is the product that won Best of Show, and what did you show, and why did you win that award?
Sure. So Panzura is what's called an on-ramp to cloud storage. And when we say cloud storage, we really mean object-based storage. Object storage is a new form of storage which is becoming very popular when capacity management becomes an issue. So if you look at Amazon, if you look at Google, if you look at Microsoft Azure, these are very large compute and storage services which has been built. And the storage service which these companies are building are based on this object-based storage and been very popular in the Web 2.0 space, but now that is moving into the enterprise. So what we are doing is enabling that enterprise consumption of this kind of object-based storage, both as a private cloud or in a public cloud. So we do this in conjunction with these partners. So Amazon, Google, and partners like HP, EMC, who has a object-based storage as well, which they sell into the enterprise for building private clouds, as well as Nirvanix, which is one of our good partners who are reselling and OEMing our solution to large enterprises, both for public and private cloud.
Wow, so that's a hot market right now, isn't it?
Extremely hot. Cloud is, of course, a buzzword, and because of the deployment models and because of the kind of problems which people are solving, both from a data growth perspective, from disaster recovery perspective, and overall data protection, archiving, those are the markets which we are going after. And each one of these segments by themselves are multi-billion-dollar segments.
So are you seeing any competitive concerns right now? Like what other products do customers look at besides yours?
Sure.
Or services?
So the general competition has been sort of the incumbents in the sense that traditional storage world has been dominated by the NAS and the SAN vendors. So they end up being the primary competition for us. As customers look at adopting object storage instead of a traditional NAS and SAN, they look into deploying that object storage with Panzura because Panzura gives that same NAS capability to that object storage. So our competition tends to be those incumbents as opposed to any kind of startup or any other innovative technology because there are very few who have done what we have done. And to just give you a little bit more color into the kind of functionality which we have built, people are calling us the NetApp in the sky. So if you're familiar with NetApp, which
Sure.
is sort of the leader when it comes to NAS storage inside the data center on traditional architecture, we are the NetApp in the sky. We took that NAS filer capability and put it on top of this object storage. Not only that, we made a global file system which allows customers to have multiple of these NAS devices across multiple sites, and then we combine all of them into one single unified namespace, making it look like you have one storage which is spread across all of these different geos, thereby giving you a very robust enterprise class file sharing environment. So as you might know, there's a lot of different technologies coming out there where people want to share data. With our technology, they are able to share data and keep it centrally so that they don't have to manage it in different locations, yet consume it in all of these different locations for large architectural engineering design type of projects, for large video editing, if you may. So we have customers where they have artists who are developing video content in LA, and then that same video content is consumed or developed or changed by artists in New York, for instance, right? Same thing with large financial services firms. So this kind of global file system or the global sharing capability which we have built is very unique in the industry across any kind of vendor. So that makes us very differentiated and from a competitive perspective, just a pretty green space for us because there's nobody else who does what we are doing.
So it sounds to me like it's a network abstraction, a database abstraction, similar to the way Google has designed their infrastructure to kind of abstract the underlying hardware, where they're able to use disposable hardware and not care if the MTBF is very low. They just swap things out. But that gets us to the next point, and that is that within your cloud, is there some redundancy built in also for that kind of situation?
No, so you make an excellent point. You just made the case for why people are moving to object storage. So we don't build the object storage. We actually use Google's object storage. So all of these redundancy, availability, scalability features which Google has, we leverage that. What our device does is it allows an enterprise to be able to use that Google storage as if it's their own storage and do it in such a manner that it appears local to their data center.
Okay.
So we took all of the goodness of Google or Amazon or any one of these cloud storage providers, and that's why we partner with them very closely. Very closely. We jointly sell our solution.
And you make it easier to use those solutions.
We make it easier to use.
So you basically, okay.
We make it easier, we make it faster, because data center wants local performance. So to get that local performance, you need a local presence so that there is no network outage.
So that's the caching side of things.
That's the caching side of things. So the way the device works is it's an on-premise device. It could be virtual or physical. It has SSDs built into it. You can have all SSD box or a combination of SSD.
When you say virtual, you mean virtualized?
It can't be a virtual appliance.
But so it can't be a virtual. It has to be It has to be in the office, right?
In the office,
it can't be virtual.
Well, so there are 2 or 3 form factors we have.
Okay.
We have a 1U appliance, which comes with our own storage. That storage is used for caching purposes.
Okay.
Or if the customer says, "Hey, I'm not interested in your appliance. I have my own storage," I'll give them a virtual machine,
that's a virtual.
and they are going to put it on their vBlock, for instance, and they will give us the storage. We'll use it for cache. But now certainly what they have is a local appliance which is presenting the cloud storage from thousands of miles away into their data center. And we give them local CIFS NFS access, which is what the local data center applications speak. They don't speak the Google language, they don't speak the Amazon language, and they don't have to once our device is there. So our device looks like a standard NAS NFS CIFS device. As you write to it, what we do is we first deduplicate the data, we compress that, and then we encrypt it with the encryption key managed on the device, not in the cloud, because a lot of people are encrypting data in the cloud, but then they're storing the key right next to the log, so it defeats the whole purpose. Our key is managed in the data center, and then we replicate that data into the cloud instantaneously. So you're constantly writing to the cloud. Now, as long as the bandwidth is available, we are writing straight into the cloud. It's really almost right through, if you may.
I understand.
And while caching all of this data, so that in case you ever have to read the data back again, which is, of course, a good use case of using both in a standard NAS environment or even for backup or recovery type operation, we cache all of the hot segments in the system, which allows us to give you LAN performance for reads as well. So you get LAN performance for writes, LAN performance for reads, while all of these deduplication and replication benefits and off-siting that data into the cloud.
That's awesome.
Very exciting.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Appreciate your time as well.
Great job.